Okay, today we're going to continue our look at preferences, and this time we're looking at security. So, first of all, where do we find security settings? Well, they occur in two places. In preferences under workgroup security and workgroup reports, and at the user level under preferences users, security, and reports. So, first things first, workgroups. So, as the name implies, they are quite literally just that, groups that you can classify your employees into to have a very convenient way to set all of their security privileges to a predefined setup. So there are many privileges that can be set, and we can see on our drop down here they cover pretty much every aspect of the software. Some have more options than others. Time, expense, and projects in particular have quite a few options, as you might expect them to, as those areas have some more sensitive data. But the idea is the same here. So you just go through each screen and you can define, well, what do I want administrators to be able to do? Do they need full access or not? What do I want my principals to be able to do? Do they need full access or not? You can turn on and off any of the various options you want and configure them in any way you want. And then additionally, you can set up a default. So if I create a brand new user, maybe I just hired a new person, well, by default, what level of privileges do I want them to have? And in this case, they're set up to be the project manager level of default. But perhaps I realize, oh, I made a mistake. I can very easily change that. And from now on, all new employees will be set up as architect interns. So how does this help me? So once these workgroups are set up and defined the way you wish them to be, that then flows down into the user level. So the idea here is that this is the setup of the workgroup, but the actual user level is the end of the road. This is where the actual privileges are set. All the workgroups get you is a convenient way to set these all at once in a bulk type of operation. To explain this more clearly, if perhaps, let's say, Howard Rourke was reduced in privileges, perhaps he's taken on a different job role, and now he is no longer an administrator, I can very easily just change his work group, click on Save, and of course that was a bad example because he is in fact our last administrator. And this is actually a very important topic. The system will safeguard you. It knows that that is the only person left in the system that had access to preferences. He is the only administrator that is currently licensed. So it wouldn't let us actually change his role. So the system will actually protect you in that regard. So I've gone ahead and licensed Catherine here to demonstrate this. So if Catherine's job function changes, she no longer may need the access level of an administrator. Well, no problem. So we can very easily just change her group, go to Save, and then we will find that automatically all these various screens will all be updated to whatever privileges that work group was set to at the time. Now, that doesn't lock us in, though. Perhaps we want a hybrid setup. We say, well, Catherine, yeah, we want her to have full access. But you know what? We're not sure we trust Catherine that much, so we don't want her to actually have access to preferences itself. So we can come in here, go down to System, and then even though her administrator's workgroup gives her access to everything, at the user level we can say no. Catherine has everything except that. So we can turn on or off anything we wish to in a fully customized way. Same thing with reports. We can set up workgroups for report security. And this is actually access to the report itself. So just as the security options give us access to functions. The report options give us access to the actual reports themselves. And just as an example of this, we'll take a look at Howard Rourke, who we're currently logged in as, and we'll just turn off all three of the accounts receivable reports. And if we go into our reports module, and we look under billing, we can see that, in fact, all three of the accounts receivable reports are just not there. They're not listed at all. So your users won't even have the opportunity to try and use those reports if they have not been granted access to them. They won't even see them in the system. And then we can just as easily turn those options back on. And then the reports come back. Just that simple. And that is reports and security options in ArchiOffice Preferences.